Team Affinity 3 is now here, which means we have plenty of new showdowns to do and to complete to help us progress through the Season 3 Team Affinity. And I know Showdown for a lot of you guys isn't necessarily your favorite thing, so I hope this video, I'm just going to give you guys some tips to help you complete these showdowns. And if you do enjoy the video, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. But let's go ahead and get into it. I don't want to waste any more of your time here. So when you're drafting, the main thing you want to be considering is pretty much like which types of pitchers will you be going against? Like, will it mainly be righties, lefties? What is it going to be, right? So we know for the Team Affinity showdowns, you will be facing mainly Team Affinity 3 pitchers from the teams of whichever division showdown that you're working on. So one thing you could do is look at the pitchers that you might be facing in these moments, right? That who you'll be going up against, so you know whether to draft more righties or lefties, or you can just balance out your lineup with some righties, some lefties. I'm going to go Kris Bryant here in my draft that I'm showing you guys. Good speed, amazing hitting stats, so can't go wrong with Kris Bryant, a righty right there. And yeah, I always pay attention to speed as well, like I brought up there. I usually, even if someone has worse hitting stats but has a little more speed, I always tend to go with that speed person, just because there's always going to be moments in these showdowns where you need speed on the base paths, right? So right here, Franmil Reyes just has amazing hitting stats, so I'm going to go with him. A little slower, but the other two guys have a little bit of speed. But yeah, I really value speed in these, and I suggest that you guys pay attention to speed too. Obviously, you want guys who can with 100 everything hitting stats, right? But speed is super clutch in Showdown for sure. So in this draft, I mainly drafted right-handed hitters. There just weren't many good lefties, so that's why you see a lot of righties there. Then for the perks, exit velocity boost while losing is a really, really good one, because if you think about it, in all of these showdown moments that you're going to be in, you're going to be losing in literally every one that you start, right? Unless maybe one you might be tied like 0-0 or whatever it is. But otherwise, you're going to be losing in so many of these. And then another one I like is the contact and exit velocity boost after the third consecutive out. So if you're just in a little bit of a slump, that'll help you just try to get out of that with a little bit of a boost to the attributes. So highly suggest those two, and then just whichever ones you think help you the most, given, whatever situation you need some of these in. I know there's one where it's like with no runners on base, exit velocity boost. That's also a really good one, because there's going to be times where you need a little bit of a spark with no guys on. That one will help you there. But then as far as your batting order, what you want to do is put your best hitter at the very top of the order. So Kris Bryant for me, hitting first. I got Dansby there, probably put Reyes right there in the 2-hole though. But I put them at the very first spot, and the rest of your guys following, just in order of best hitters, because you want to maximize your at-bats with them, right? So I could easily put Kris Bryant in the 3-hole, right? Like some teams might. In real life, they might put their best hitter in the 2 or 3-hole, but I might as well hit him first, because I want as many at-bats with him as possible. The other thing is, on your bench, you want to make sure you have at least 2 guys with high speed ratings, right? So the first guy on my bench right there had 97 speed, so he's a keeper. But we need to find one more player. Boom, 87 speed on that guy. We'll put him in our lineup too. Always have 2 guys with speed on your bench, because you're going to have pinch running opportunities in some of these showdowns. And I mean, this could be the difference between you winning a showdown and you having to restart. And we do not want that. As you can see in the first moment, we're going against Matthew Boyd, who is a left-handed pitcher. Always check what handed pitcher you're about to go against in each moment here for Showdown. So we're bumping up Luis Robert. Look at his lefty splits, right? 125, 97. Amazing. I'm moving him up into the 2-hole. So adjusting your lineup based on what pitcher you're going against is always important to do. Keep in mind, you can put all your best 9 hitters in your lineup, because there's no fielding situations, right? So all you need is to hit with these players. So always put your 9 best. So even if you have an outfielder who's one of your 9 best hitters, and you already have 3 outfielders, well, put him at catcher or whatever position you need him at, to just have him in your lineup, because there's no reason to stress about, well, maybe he's not the right position, right? All you need is his hitting, so put him wherever you need him to fit in your lineup. And let's say this moment was actually against a right-handed pitcher and I had a ton of lefties in my lineup, then I would put all of those lefties at the very top of my order. So you guys kind of get that, but that's what I would do in terms of, what you want to set your lineup as and all of that. But jumping into the first showdown here, so my strategy here, because we haven't really gone over strategy of in-game stuff, is the big thing is staying patient in these, right? The CPUs won't always be throwing strikes, and in these moments, a lot of these pitchers will actually be relievers who have low stamina. So making these pitchers, in particular the relievers, throw a couple extra pitches at bat, for every at bat will just add up. And as that stamina bar goes down, then, they'll get fatigued, start losing control a bit, giving you some, good pitches right down the middle, which hopefully you can take advantage of. But I also, in terms of staying patient, my strategy is I always take the first pitch of every at-bat. Never swing, and just see what the pitcher gives you, You can also, we ground out right there, not great. But, yeah, just see what the pitcher gives you, right? And I think seeing this first pitch of every at-bat without swinging helps me personally with the timing, just getting my timing done, because, every moment's going to be different with a different pitcher, which means the timing might feel weird, right? So it might take a little while to get used to that, and I just feel like the taking of the first pitch helps me with that. Also just obviously drives up the pitch count, gets the pitcher hopefully to make more mistakes later on in the moment. And let's say the pitch that you guys take is a ball, then you could honestly take another pitch if you really want, or you can just sit like fastball high or something. Sit on one pitch, and if they pitch it there, great, boom, take advantage of that. Otherwise, you can just take the pitch because you don't have to stress at all about it being a strike or whatever, just because you're down or you're up in the count 1-0. So as you see right there, we completed the mission there. Pretty easy. Pretty simple first one right there, but yeah, that's what I would do in terms of like working the count, how you want to be approaching every at bat. So we defeated that moment right there, and now we got to draft our player, put him in our lineup, just basically substitute this hitter in for whoever our worst hitter in our lineup is currently, right? So it doesn't matter the position, I can put them wherever, and then also I'll draft a perk, put that in my lineup as well. And like I said before the first moment, check the pitcher who you're going against. Okay, now it's Alex Reyes. He's a righty. He's a righty reliever. So we want to adjust, right? We had Luis Robert in the 2-hole. Luis Robert is not as good against righties, significantly worse. So it makes sense probably to move him down in the lineup, move other people in the lineup. Although I first got to put our guy in the lineup, Torrey Hunter here, move him up in the lineup, and then we want to move him up basically where Luis Robert is. Move Luis Robert down because it is a righty, so put him down in the 6-hole, and that looks pretty good. So move him up. Even Brian Reynolds is better against righties than Luis Robert. So do that, and then I can go into the next one as I'm ready. So now we'll go up against the reliever. The first moment we went against a starting pitcher, and obviously starting pitchers have a lot more stamina than a reliever. They might not get down to the end of their stamina bar, but I still think making them starting pitchers throw as many pitches as possible will just help with your timing. Being able to see that come in time and time again will just get you more comfortable with seeing those pitches and, being able to hit those, time those up, right? So, and eventually they're just going to make more mistakes if you're seeing more and more pitches, right? So here's Alex Reyes, though, a reliever. Honestly, I'm surprised he has 45 stamina. He is a closing pitcher, but 45 stamina, still significantly lower, right, than a starting pitcher, but 17 outs. So this is a great example of one where you just want to drag on these at-bats as long as possible, right? So always take that first pitch. All right, it's a strike. Who cares, though? That's one pitch. In this one, we're down 2, bases loaded, but 17 outs for a pitcher who has, oh man, just foul right there. But for a pitcher who has 45 stamina is, probably once he gets to like 50 pitches, he's going to be just gassed. So, yeah, okay, there's a sac fly, we'll take that, but really just dragging these at-bats on. 17 outs is just so many for this situation. So, yeah, just making him throw a lot of pitches, and eventually he's going to get tired. He's going to get fatigued, start making mistakes, and you can take advantage of that. And you can really just, at some point, kind of just start sitting fastball if you want, right? Like fastball or sinker, that one is right down the middle. You could be sitting on that pitch, waiting for that pitch, because you have so many outs to work with that you kind of can just sit on one pitch, wait for that pitch, and drive the ball. Something else that I just want to bring up now is don't forget about your pinch runners. There's going to be situations for sure, at least a couple, that you're going to want pinch runners for a tying run or go-ahead run, whatever it is. Always remember them. Also, when you got runners on base, and maybe you're trying to tag from third to score a run, always have patience. It always comes back to patience with showdowns, and this is just no different, right? So you don't want to be making outs on the bases, so always make sure that you're tagging, if you're tagging from a base, that you're going to be safe. Try not to take any real risks on the bases, especially if you struggle to just score runs to begin with, because every run, every base runner is going to be precious in these showdowns here, so never make mistakes like that. And let's say, for example, you go into a moment where you're down by 1 run and you have 8 outs to take the lead and win, right? That's a good example of, if you get a base runner, go ahead and use a pinch runner, because all you need is 1 or 2 runs, and you want speed on the base paths in that situation, right? Like this one right here is a perfect example. Enter a tied game with a runner on first, take the lead before recording 10 outs. You might want to consider putting a pinch runner on first base if that person doesn't have a lot of speed, because all you need is literally that 1 run to come across the plate within 10 outs. So really just like 1, maybe 2 hits could potentially score that runner if he's got a lot of speed. So highly suggest putting a high speed guy, in that pinch runner spot. So I'm not going to go through every individual moment right here, but if you guys do have questions about any ones that you guys are working on, go ahead and drop those down in the comments. But I wanted to bring up, the last thing I wanted to bring up was, I completed the Central and West so far, and when I was working on these showdowns, the final boss showdown moment for the Central Team Affinity was Max Scherzer, and you got 25 outs, so working the count in that one is especially important, right? 25 outs, so being patient, driving that pitch count up, seeing as many pitches as possible is going to be the key. You do have to score, I think, 5 runs, though, so it is a good amount of runs, and then the final boss for the West was Liam Hendricks, and I think you needed 3 runs and 14 outs. So that's that one. And the East I haven't done yet, so I don't know what the final boss was looking like for that one. But if any of you have done it, go ahead and drop those down in the comments below. I'm curious to see what that one's about. And I can't guarantee that the final boss showdown moment's going to be the same exact thing for all of you guys, but it should be similar, I would imagine, and probably in a lot of situations it will be the same exact thing. So that's what it was for me. I figured I would tell you guys what I went through. And I know Showdown can be stressful, so if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and drop those down in the comments below and I'll try to help out. Otherwise, that's going to be it for this one. I appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.